Alright, I want to start off this video by saying I'm a very experienced rogue main. I'm top 25 for rogues right now, top 150 in the world. Have a 7.3 KD in Ruins HR solos, and I've played all rogue builds and I'm very well versed in each playstyle. So as you guys know, the wipe is coming up, and that's usually when Iron Mace does a bunch of balance changes, so I just want to offer some ideas and get some community feedback on them too for rogue to make it like an overall better class. And when I say better, I don't mean just like buffs, I just mean an overall more balanced class. I shall speak my mind on how rogues, perks, and skills should be changed to not only fit its role in Dark and Darker, but also line up better with how other fantasy games portray them. And I know how the Dark and Darker community is really passionate, so I'm gonna hit this video with a heavy precaution. These are just suggestions from random YouTuber tryhards rogue, and said suggestions are open to criticism. If you disagree, say why you disagree, so we can have a constructive forum in the comments. If you agree, say why you agree. And remember, be polite. Alright, this is going to be a solid yap, so I want everyone to buckle up and put their listening caps on. So let me just preface this by saying, the way Rogue is balanced right now promotes a playstyle of just jumping on someone and just turning off your brain and spam crouching left to right and hitting them. Unless you're running hand crossy and a bunch of throwing knives and doing poke damage, I mean, you're going to be playing like that. Listen, now don't get me wrong, I mean, there's a lot of skill in like setting up a flank, but I really don't like either of these playstyles at all. And the only way I see this being changed is if the whole combat system is revamped, which is extremely unlikely. For example, like adding, like shoves and kicks would actually help Rogue a lot. However, in my perfect Rogue world, a more stick and move type of playstyle would be really fun, but that seems very unlikely because it would cause a whole revamp in the combat system. And also, it would probably have a very high skill ceiling. Now, with all that in mind, I'm gonna base my suggestions and changes on the fact that Rogue's main playstyle is sneaking up on people and assassinating them. Alright, the first perk I'm going to change is Ambush. When coming out of Invis, instead of getting a 50% physical damage bonus, you get a 55%. But as each second passes out of Ambush, you lose 15% physical damage bonus. Example, in the first second you go from 55% to 40%. As the next second passes, you go from 40% to 25%. I think this will be more rewarding to people who have better timing and placement on Rogue, because some people come out of Invis and are so far away from someone, but in that 3 seconds they catch up to them because they're a fast moving Rogue and still get that 50% physical damage bonus. Which doesn't really sit right with me because it's like you're getting rewarded even though you like misplayed the whole point of your class. You know what I mean? This next perk I'm really passionate about, okay? So for Dagger Mastery, I think that if Dagger Mastery went from just a flat 15% physical damage bonus to something that not only buffs Dagger's damage, but also buffs, like its move speed or swing speed. Daggers would get used like way more. As of right now, a rapier that has the same rarity as a dagger will do consistently 5 to 10 more damage with Dagger Mastery. Just to get more of like a viewpoint as to what I'm talking about, if you look at Bard's Rapier Mastery, they not only get like +3 weapon damage, but they also get plus action speed on their rapier. I feel like Rogue should get something like that. For example, what I cooked up in the kitchen was that the physical damage bonus gets nerfed a little bit, so it goes from 15 to 10%, but they gain a 15% armor pen and decrease the base move speed of daggers by half and the swing speed move speed penalty by half. So there's a lot of reasons for why I suggest these changes, but one of the big things is that with daggers, you have to be in range. You have to be like on top of the person to be getting good shots in, like headshots and body shots, and not trying to hit them in the limb. Because if you're too far away, you're literally useless. Additionally, when you are in range, you're 90 times easier to hit, which is really bad for Rogue because you're 2 hit to almost every class in the game. So by reducing the swing speed move speed penalty and the normal move speed penalty, it'll allow you to close that distance, and also when you're hitting them, not get hit as easy. Additionally, does it make much sense for a dagger to have more move speed penalty than a friggin' buckler? Now you actually might be asking yourself, why make the move speed buff just a perk on Rogue and not just a buff to daggers in general? And that'd be because I feel like daggers are like tailored to Rogue, and it'd be kind of a disservice to like buff it for all classes, because then Rondell Wizard gets buffed, Slayer Fighter gets buffed, and Chris Dagger Warlock gets buffed, and that just doesn't feel right. As of right now, the only way a dagger could be better than a rapier is if it had that base armor pen from Thrust. But that literally takes up a whole perk slot when you could run something like Ambush, Shadowrunner, 10 Step. The Rogue's perk slot economy is trash, okay? And I think if we combine some perks together, Rogue would feel a lot more fluid to play and it'd be way more balanced. Now, I'm not going to go over all of Rogue's perks and skills because honestly, some of them are just good. Like, for example, Back Attack is just a good perk. It's situational, but when you are in that situation when you need it, it's really good. But if you don't need it, then you're just wasting a perk slot, so it's pretty balanced like that, I think. Alright, this next suggestion might be a controversial one, but honestly, I think Creep is not that great. It's okay, but it's not worth a whole perk slot on Rogue. I think if Hidden Pockets and Creep were combined together, it would make a lot more sense. This would give an opportunity for Rogue to lean into his sneaky side while also buffing Pickpocket. Alright, so this one might also be controversial, but I think Hide Mastery should be combined with another perk. It's never worth bringing that because you could use a different perk that's way better. So I think if it was combined with something like Shadowrunner, it'd be a lot more useful. But honestly, I don't know. Maybe if they just made Invis like 30 seconds long and then didn't have Hide Mastery. One thing they could do but might be a little OP is make Hide Mastery and 10 Step the same perk. That could maybe fix the issue, but like, I don't know. Another perk that I don't see getting enough love is Jokester. It had like so much potential to be good. +2 all is literally like rousing rhythms, but it's an infinite buff as long as you're near the rogue. But rogue is constantly flanking, never near the team, so it kind of doesn't make sense to have it unless it's just +2 all regardless of the range, which I think they should change. Sometimes I always find funny is comparing rogue to classes that are kind of rogue but better. For example, like Crystal Ball, Rondell, Wizard's just a rogue literally but better. Slayer Fighters are rogue but better. Bard is a rogue but 9 times better. And it's funny that one of Rogue's perks is literally one of Bard's songs, like +2 all. Honestly, if they made it like +3 all, or like +4 all for the Rogue and then +3 all for his teammates, it could actually be like really useful. But as of right now, you might as well just have a Bard instead of a Rogue, because he literally just does everything that Rogue does but better. Not only can himself go invis, but he can make his whole team go invis regardless of their knowledge. Sorry, this kind of turned into a Bard complainer video, but honestly, like Bard's a really fun class, so don't nerf it. Alright, for the last perk, and possibly the most controversial perk ever to be implemented into the game. Double jump.
Man, I don't want to talk yo.
Now listen, this perk, honestly, regardless of what they do to this perk, I will use it. Negative 100 move speed, you will catch me using it. No cap, okay? I honestly see no way for them to nerf it without making it completely trash. There's too many things that double jump is good at doing. Mid fight, you want to get some headshots? Bro, just double jump. Yo, you want to get over a wall that no other class can get over? Use double jump. It's just too good. And honestly, like, I don't know how to like balance this. I feel bad for the devs because they probably introduced this into the game like unsuspecting, and next thing they know, there's a rogue on the skybox of ruins looking down on people and dropping on them. I don't even know, man. That's the one thing I just don't know. Hashtag I triple jump. Okay, with all the perks out of the way, I want to move on to rogue's skills.
La la dum da la la.
So I'm not even gonna waste my time on perks like Tumble and freaking Caltrops. Obviously, they don't want those perks to be used because they suck so much. So I'm gonna talk about perks that mostly everyone has used before. Although now that I think about it, Tumble actually could have some potential for going in range and out of range quickly, but I don't know how they'd like implement that without it being busted. At any rate, weak point needs to be buffed. Okay, I'm not saying giving that 50% damage bonus I had at start of early release when everyone was getting one tapped by rogues. I'm saying something like reckless attack, where that first attack gives you the armored pen, and not the attacks that follow it up. I find it pretty stupid that weak point is forcing you to fully jump on the person you are attacking, like brainlessly. I don't enjoy that type of gameplay. As previously mentioned, they can make weak point do something like reckless attack, where it's a base armor pen on that first hit, and still apply a debuff, just not as heavy as 30% of their physical damage reduction. I did have a couple ideas for Rupture and Cutthroat, but I didn't like the way it sounded and the way they kind of like worked instead of how they already work, so I'm just gonna leave them out of the video. I didn't want this to really be a main point in the video, but I definitely think Smoke Pot needs to be changed. As of right now, it's really OP and annoying to deal with. I think if it was more of like a smoke grenade that you equipped when you press the ability key and you could throw to certain places, it'd be a lot better. And not just an instantaneous slowness AoE that deploys at your feet. It'd be way more balanced. One thing I do want to say before I close out the video is that most of these issues will most likely be solved by the skill tree when it gets added. But as of right now, I don't see it getting added for a while. There's a lot of stuff the devs need to work on, and they're working hard, and I appreciate that. This video is just a suggestion. It's also for the community to just see what our rogue main, a sweaty rogue main, thinks of the game and where rogue is at. Hopefully, I was mostly unbiased, and if I wasn't, let me know, because I can't tell. You know what I mean? But other than that, I think that's the end of the video. Like, let me know what you thought about these suggestions, because honestly, I've just been thinking about them for the past couple of days, and I just wanted to make a video about it because I really want to see what other people think about this. So definitely leave a comment. I'm going to read all the comments. Like, subscribe. We're really close to 1.8k, and it'd mean a lot if you subscribed. But yeah, other than that, that's been your boy. Peace.